bringing it on to the platform.
I got another rant before we
We
get
are
started.
back. All this ranting by Debonair D.
No, I ain't got no.
Oh, he
other
probably
rant.
gonna have one for us.
Oh, I definitely
Hey,
have
welcome
one.
to the show.
Hey,
99
now.
Good enough.
Boom.
We'll be keeping it 100.
Yes, sir.
We are back. We are back, and we are going to go where we should have gone some time ago.
It's overdue.
And I'm looking
It's
forward.
long overdue.
It's overdue.
I'm looking forward to talking about the queens. Why not talk about the queens, the mothers, the women, the ones that are closest to God that can bear children?
Is this a Mother's Day special?
It's a Mother's Day special, and we talking about women
Okay.
in sports.
All right.
We
all
talking
right.
about the economic infrastructure. We talking about what's fair versus what's not fair. We're looking at the facts. We're looking at the stats. And we're going to express our opinions concerning it in sports.
But we're going to keep it?
A Honda.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start this off by talking about women in sports.
Yeah, because get what?
Cause I'm a basketball head. I'm a basketball junkie. I remember the Virginia
Savant.
team. Yeah, the Virginia team with Dawn Staley and Tammy Reese in the backcourt.
Watch out now.
Jennifer Azzi at Stanford.
You
What
going
about the
back?
Tennessee team? Hose Claw.
Before her.
Before
Candace
then.
Parker.
You done went
Nikki
before
Anasicki.
then.
Way
Anasicki.
before her.
Yeah.
You done went before
Way
then.
before Candace
Cheryl
Parker.
Miller, we're going to go
What about
back.
Sharon Miller, USC?
At USC, when Cynthia Cooper was an afterthought in college. A
And
lot of
when
people
she
don't know
went to Houston
that.
and won 4 straight.
But she laid it down across seas first.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, she did.
But yeah, I remember watching Old Dominion, watching La Tech with Teresa Witherspoon.
Oh, your minion ain't been nothing since.
Yeah.
They dated.
Yeah.
On the girl shit. On the
Yeah,
girl
I,
side.
Yeah.
I mean, what did them twins play at Jones? They was like 6'8". Heather and Heidi Burge. Were they at Virginia or Vanderbilt? Were they at
Hey,
Virginia?
you know what I do
I
remember?
wanna see.
And it might not have been, because I didn't watch a lot of women's basketball.
I watched a lot of women's
But
basketball.
you know what I do remember? The one pieces that the Australian national team wore.
Yes,
that
sir.
onesie.
I do
What
remember
they call
those.
singlets?
Yeah,
Is that-
singlets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
gold and green.
Yeah.
I was
It-
like, now if the women hooping them, we might got them.
It,
be
it ain't
careful.
a, it ain't a
Coach
lot
Reed.
of women like to play in them.
Hey,
kn-
that one piece bodysuit, sign them up.
Boy, you tough. Jones, who was them twins? Who did they play for?
I'm trying to remember,
the
man.
Birds,
You
Heather and Heidi Bird.
you struck a chord right
Virginia?
there.
Hey, stat check.
I don't
Heather
know.
and Heidi Bird.
Nick, look
Producer
that up.
Nick, we need that.
You got me on that one. And you usually don't get me. I usually
remember
swim
they
in
were-
your
they were-
in your lake, but you
I'm
got
young
me.
and-
Hey,
Y'all definitely got
read
me.
it, Coach, they was Kodak All-Americans.
Uh-oh. Now you going
Kodak
back
ain't
then.
sponsoring All Americans no more.
Because you listen, we were talking about last time when we
Parade,
had the
Kodak.
big fella on that parade. They don't even do parade
Ain't
no
even
more.
no more parade All-Americans.
They had Kodak.
Yeah, Heather and Heidi
Hey,
Birds. They was
Kodak, and we ain't talking about the bell.
No.
right.
Or the rapper from South Florida either. Yeah, I watched a lot of women's basketball. Saudi Roundtree at Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I watched
Teresa
the-
Witherspoon at Georgia.
No, I thought she
Not
went-
Teresa,
Teresa Edwards
Edwards
at
at
Georgia.
Georgia.
Edwards, yeah.
Yeah, I watched a lot of
I
women's
think, matter of
basketball
fact, I
growing up.
think she done played in the most Olympic games for
Think-
women's basketball.
I think she
But
played
I
in
don't even,
four.
I don't even
Yeah.
go a little left. Look at the effect of beach volleyball, and there was a duo of women that changed the whole trajectory of women's volleyball.
I used to watch them all the time. I
they-
can't
they
think of the name
dominated.
right now.
How about we go in tennis with the Williams sisters?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and we can go back in regards to it.
Can I stop you right there?
Yes, sir.
Because I made a comment to Dak just today.
Yeah.
I say Serena Williams might be one of the greatest athletes of all time.
She got one of the greatest resumes we've ever seen. So when like,
and we don't mention them.
who was it of late they started to talk about? I don't know if it's somebody retired or somebody accomplished something, and they tried to say that Tom Brady. Tom Brady accomplishments in football, and then they were talking about this is the greatest athlete
No,
ever,
no, sir.
most accomplished. And when you look at Serena
sir.
Williams' resume, wow.
I don't know much about golf and or tennis. I would imagine you would be hard pressed to find more complete resumes than Tiger and Serena. I don't know if he got the most majors, Tiger,
No.
but
no.
as far as his
Like
impact,
Jack Nicklaus.
He behind Jack Nicklaus.
but as far as his impact and his run of dominance,
At one time, he was for sure thing to pass Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, not so sure.
and even speaking of tennis, Mario brought up tennis. I remember watching tennis, and you could just see the evolution from like a Jennifer Capriati,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
to Monica Seles.
What they call it, they start calling it big babe tennis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
What
mean?
about
Where it was
figure
like
skating?
power.
Figure skating.
I don't know a lot about.
I ain't
Well,
much
we-
past
I just
that
know our
part.
girl,
Dorothy
Tanya
Hamill,
Hart.
Michelle
Tanya
Kwan.
Hart when she got stabbed, but who
No,
she,
but she
stabbed the
But before them in the day, it was Dorothy Hamill, and then Michelle Kwan,
I do
Okay,
remember
in
Michelle
women's-
Kwan.
yeah, and figure
Michelle Kwan was
skating.
very dominant.
I'm tired
The
of
twin
eating this
sisters
mic.
went to Virginia, Coach.
It was Virginia.
Virginia.
Heather and Heidi Birds.
Went to
Yep.
Virginia.
It was Virginia.
My
Went to
man.
I
Virginia.
still got it. I still
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pass it.
yeah.
I still got a little
Yeah,
something.
went to Virginia. But we want to talk about what's fair, what's not fair. There's a lot of things that have transitioned in sports. There are so many women coaching, the male dominant sports. There are women that are doing their thing in the full landscape of sports. On the basketball side, being a commodity in regards to the sport that they're doing, having sponsorships, soccer, all of them. So we want to touch on that. And like I said, it's been way overdue. But a lot of times, what's happening is you see a lot of these petitions that are happening. For example, on the soccer side, the women's soccer national soccer team has been extremely dominant.
Yeah, that might be the definition of a dynasty. That word gets overused a lot, but
Yeah.
It's
pretty
more
dominant.
people watch them than the men.
Right.
Maybe I don't know the exact numbers, so I ain't gonna say that. But there's more interest.
Interest on the United States of America side.
There you go.
Not worldwide.
Not on the world side.
Because
I would
when
assume.
we play England or Spain, well, we know what's going on then on the male side.
On the male side.
You know what I'm saying?
On the women's side, we the draw.
We the draw. But this is why Nike have stepped up and did what they did from a sponsorship standpoint to do what they did to change the economic infrastructure for the women on that side.
So, talking about the equal play for equal pay. Oof. Let's go and
tough.
step in there. That's the tough one.
Well,
Now.
say it again, Coach.
Equal pay.
Equal pay
for equal play.
Well,
I don't know a lot of women's sports that'll go draw 120,000 on a Saturday like Tennessee football will.
or like Michigan football,
Or like
or like
Michigan
Ohio
football.
State football, or like NBA Finals.
Well, I think it was Draymond
Even-
caught a little
even-
slack for that.
Even the NBA Finals, what's the size of a big size?
25? 25,000.
You're getting 120 at the big house.
Yeah.
120 at Neyland Stadium.
I don't
108 or whatever it is.
I don't have the recollection of what Draymond said.
I don't
But
exactly.
if he said anything along the lines of, it's not even a comparison. I don't know what he said.
Something along the lines of with the draw, fan wise, it's hard for them to get paid equal money.
Yeah, but we also know, I think where the women's argument at, and something I've been a part of kind of seeing how that looks. When you bring, the reason why women have to play, let's use basketball, have to play year round, because if the WNBA biggest contract is $100K for a season and they play a 3 to 4 month season, and then they can go overseas and make $1 million if you're one of those better players over a 6 to 8 month season, why is the difference of saying, okay, we are paid six figures for a certain amount of time, but you got the biggest contract in the NBA of 40 plus million.
So this is
Now we know one is a $3.5 billion entity. I don't know what the WNBA entity
Well,
is.
they probably
Don't it all
operate
come
at a
down to
loss.
basically sponsorship?
TV contracts.
TV contracts,
sponsorships.
yeah.
So this is, and I'm not a financial wizard, but I know if you own the Yankees and y'all have a AA team, a AAA team, a single A team, I know those teams aren't making money.
No.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they can do something with revenue sharing where if Mario buys the Seattle Supersonics, as a part of his portfolio, it's the women's team also.
Yeah.
And you can
Yeah.
do something like as far as revenue sharing. I'm not sure how that would work, but I don't know.
Can I go? I'm gonna turn it just a little bit on the coaching side because I've had the pleasure of coaching
Both.
college women, college men. I've had the pleasure of being in a state tournament with a college women's team and a college men's team.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, I appreciate that, young fella. I think somebody else that did along with me, but so I've been there, and it's one thing I've found. People always ask me when they find out. So which one you like coaching best?
I think I know the answer to that.
I don't even think it's close.
This is why I love the word woman.
It's not that.
I love.
It's not that close. The women listen better.
Oh, Coach.
The women give you a little bit more hard. They play hard, a little bit more into it. You know what I mean? They seem like they trying to please you and say, this is what we bringing, coach. You know what I mean? Whereas the men like, hey, bro, you can take this or leave that.
Right.
You
Well,
know
Coach,
what I mean?
I think with you using the intangibles and characteristics of a human being, and you use men and women, I've had the luxury of training both and understanding. Okay,
So
if
you
one
already know them.
Yeah, if one comes in with a certain amount of ego, a certain amount of lack thereof of being able to push themselves to a certain point, and then being able to see on the female side, it's a little different. I think that's why a lot of the women have been able to crack the code of being on the male side of doing things that they're doing because of their discipline, because they're willing to go the extra mile, because of a lot of the now, is it ever going to be fair economically? I don't see that. I don't forecast that happening.
So I remember, and I don't know in this new political, the way stuff is now. I remember when the WNBA first started out, they had, what was the team in Orlando? The Miracle, the Orlando Miracle.
Yes.
They ran these ads that they could not get away with nowadays. The ads were basically like they had these male groupies. You know how you hear the stories about groupies waiting in the lobby for NBA players? Right. They did it with the gender reversal. It was guys who were playing these male groupies. And I thought, at the time, that was funny, and I thought that was a catchy ad, and then it kind of just faded away. Like, they're going to have to do something to, like, get more interest. Like, you have women, and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to the Super Bowl party at Mario House. Start throwing WNBA final parties. If you got a Saturday WNBA finals game, throw a finals party.
But now we talking about marketing.
Yeah, it's marketing. And I don't know that I was going there next. The athleticism in the men is so much more appealing.
It's a selling point.
And it's above the rim game.
It is.
And it's a selling point. Now, the women's game, I'm going to take some flack, is a better game fundamentally.
No doubt. Ain't no flack, but that's real.
If you're a basketball purist like the three of us up here.
Like, if you limit athleticism and all of the stuff, speed, quickness, and agility from a standpoint of saying, okay, your length, your girth, your size, and now I have to be able to play below the rim where I can't do a lot of those things, fundamentally it's going to be eons better. I tell any kid in America, if you want to learn how to play, watch women play.
Yeah.
Watch women play. You're talking about a higher level IQ.
Now, my question is that because athleticism isn't so,
yes,
you know what I mean? Right. So it makes you say, okay, I know I can't do. To me, it's nothing worse than when I would have my women's team, my players, and I see them trying to do something that hard and doing all of that. Not that they can't.
Yes.
But you don't need to do that.
Yeah, right.
I remember, I used to watch a lot of women's basketball. There's a girl from Pensacola named Michelle Snow.
I remember I watched in the state finals.
I mean, I've seen her she get a little dump off. It's a dunk off too.
No, they're getting more athletic, no doubt.
Yeah.
I used to watch a lot of women's basketball.
It's definitely, but even going back to on the tennis side of things, when you look at the marketing piece, Maria Sharapova from Nike was getting paid. I never forget seeing this comparison. The greatest tennis player, arguably in the world on the women's side, was Serena Williams. But then you had Serena marketing dollars, and what Nike was paying was about $5 million. Maria Sharapova, who never won a major, was making $20 million.
Yeah, that's an entirely
different. That's another show.
Hold on, let me say this. That's an entirely different argument.
That's another show.
Because listen, let's hear my point. I'm only mentioning that to say, okay, if one can make $20 million a year to be that serviceable and that marketable, no matter, she's still a woman at the end of the day.
Yeah.
She's still a woman.
I'm going to go before her, Anna Kournikova.
Oh, yeah.
Hadn't won nothing.
Yeah.
And
that's another one.
And was making money on top of money.
That's another one. So when we look at, but again, I think we know there was a level of sex appeal when it comes down to saying marketing dollars to do certain things on behalf of that side. I hate to say, okay, we have to use the physical attributes from a sex appeal of a woman and say, okay, let's make it marketable. We have a great sport. We have a great game in regards to what they're doing, and we're looking for fair play and fair pay. And what does that look like for a lot of them? So when we're sitting here, we're saying, what makes sense in regards to these leagues being fair or these things being fair for women and men? Like, can a woman, why can't we respect a woman from knowing the game of football just as much as we know it? Yeah. They probably watched it the same way we did. Mm-hmm. We don't know that. But we got now women in coaching on the football side.
Women in coaching.
You know what I mean? Becky Hammond is on the basketball side, one that comes off the top of my head, who was a very good point guard.
And the thing I hate is when people, they just putting it in there. Listen, man, there's too much money in there. They ain't putting it in there unless you know what you're doing.
You got to know.
If you go back to when Coach Jones was a little boy, Jane Kennedy.
Yeah. I remember, oh, man.
I took you back.
Yeah, man. Irv Cross and all them.
Irv Cross with the part before Michael Irvin.
He died.
On the side.
He passed.
Recently?
Yeah.
But Jane Kennedy, I'm not sure what her athletic background was, but I'm sure she had to know her stuff.
Yeah.
when she was on TV for CBS.
Yep.
She had to know her stuff. Becky Hammond probably knows more basketball than 97% of the men, including some of the guys in the NBA.
Shoot, speaking of women, my girl on ABC,
Doris Burke.
I love her.
I think
Doris
she
Burke
do. I
is
think she
nice.
do a great job, bro.
You know who is like a step up from Doris Burke, who don't get her due, and Jones know it. Nancy Lieberman Klein.
Oh, no question.
Always been there.
I like Burke though,
Always been
but Nancy
I
Lieberman
think
nice.
Nancy McCline even like tried to petition, or she tried to like get a tryout with the Pacers.
Yeah.
Like she could
As a
play
woman.
As a woman.
Bruh, flat out stroke it.
Yeah, she don't get her. She don't get her due. Like,
Wow.
yeah, she know what she doing out there in them streets.
So I did in the street, but I want to here's the next question then. Why is the economic infrastructure so off then?
I have no idea.
Why is it so off? NCAA tournament for men is a $3 billion entity where they're paying for the 68 tournament. That's election Sunday, and the marketing goes in on a Sunday to come in and play. Now we use athleticism earlier.
Yeah.
I can tell you why it's
Why did they change why did the women's weight room on when they were quarantined, they had to go to the bubble.
Because you still got some of the old head and they're saying they just girls, they don't need this right here. They
That's
don't need that
unbelievable.
much.
But I can tell you why.
That's
why
unbelievable.
I can tell you why the women's part of the game is not very interesting. It's because it's the usual suspects. It's Baylor, Connecticut, and then back in the day it was Tennessee.
Well, it used to be the men because UCLA
Now
won
you
like
got
8 straight.
Stanford.
Yeah,
Now you
Back
got-
in
you
the
got
day
your-
with
but
you got
the
Stanford,
field
you
wasn't
got the
64
South-
back then.
You got
The
the
field
South
was what, like
Carolinas.
32.
Bro, one time it was like 16.
Right. So I think in the late the 80s to maybe possibly now, a lot of the suspense was taken out of it.
I'm going to tell you something, man. Honestly, unless you're a true fan of the game, there's not a lot of people want to see women play. You know what I mean? And I tell you that as a coach of women's basketball. I had the most interesting thing happen to me. I coached women's basketball in college for, I ain't going to sit out here today trying to add up 12, 15 years. And then I came over to the men, measuring it out, watching them. I loved the women's game and coaching it. But, man, ain't nothing like a dude getting up off the floor going and getting it. Ain't nothing like that little physical play that them dudes bringing. And if some women can do that, but the number is so much smaller that can do it compared to the men. And then the men, bruh, you know, I remember my first thought going from the women to the men. And I had been men already, but I was in women for 12 years. I came back to the men. I'm the shortest dude in the huddle. Whereas before I was at least the same size as everybody in the huddle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then just the pure athleticism. You know what I mean? The knowledge of the game is no better.
Right.
No better, no worse.
No better, no worse. The work ethic is better on the women's side.
I believe that.
Okay.
No, hands down.
The athletic ability is much better on the men's side. They're stronger, bigger, faster.
Right.
You know what I mean? The following of instruction, it ain't even close on the women's side, and game plan, it's
Yeah.
not even close. You know, but when you're trying to sell and money and
Fanfare.
commercials and fanfare, it's the men. It's the men. The women's game is a beautiful game, especially when you have coached it, been in it, and watched it. But stepping away and doing men for a while,
Right.
I see it.
What's even more interesting when you see, like even on the football side, they have something that's out there now when they have like a lingerie bowl or flag football, and even selling thighs, hips, and butts is still not as economically successful as a NFL or even or arena league.
Yeah.
And now you're selling
You-
something totally different.
You ever been to an arena game?
I have.
Very entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Yeah.
Very entertaining.
Never been to
Very
one.
entertaining.
Never been to one.
Super fast.
Storm, yeah, they were
50
very
like it's
entertaining.
unreal. It's unreal the level of entertainment, and you still have that physicality. So as we sit here and so it's safe to say we know from the mental side of things, we're going to give the queens their props.
Yeah.
It's just being able to say, okay, I'm going to watch this and I'm gonna be interested in watching it because I know the speed is gonna be there. I know the agility is gonna be there. I know the quick. A lot of that is not gonna be interesting for the masses. It's just not. So when we talk about filling up an arena and doing the marketing, you just ain't gonna get it because a lot of people just not gonna be interested in it.
No.
So
Now
when USF was in the Big East and Connecticut was coming here,
You want to watch that?
no, I mean you would want to go watch it, but I wonder if they ever had a 5,000 people come out there to watch USF and UConn. And those games used to be relatively competitive on the women's side.
Right.
But I don't ever remember hearing a buzz from a lot of females, women coaches even saying, I'm going to take my girls out there so they can watch USF and UConn. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about even getting the fanfare because of UConn's dominance.
Yeah.
UConn right.
And those were very good games.
Oh man, very, very, very good games. But I do love to see what we've seen over the last 20 years with women in sports, from having coaches now on the NFL side, having coaches on the NBA side.
Yeah.
Now we also now have a minority owner as a woman on the franchise side in the WNBA.
Yeah. Maria, not
From
Maria.
UConn. Is it the Sparks? Sparks? I think it's,
No, it's she played at UConn.
she played at UConn. Liberty.
Renee Montgomery.
Liberty. Minority owners. So now we're starting to see a big shift. And I'm gonna be 100 with both of y'all on this panel. Being an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
seeing things in business. If you want to see something get done a certain way, you better put a woman around.
Boom.
Like, flat out.
I'm going to take it a step further, Mario. As we all know, I'm a Plant Panther located at 2415 South Himes.
Oh my God.
Jones been around for a long time.
Couple of mango seasons.
Plant had a pretty good run in football back when Jones,
Yeah.
70s and the 80s,
Yeah.
fell off a little bit in the 90s. If I ask you right now, Mario, what do you think the most dominant sport has ever been at Plant? What would you say?
Cross country.
What?
Because we just had that conversation.
How many state championships did they win?
10.
12.
12, I'm sorry. That's
So-
right.
so-
Long Red Road won 10.
I know that because I got text early in the morning or
Long
late
Red
at
Road
night
won
by the
10.
Long Red Road
We won 10.
and Plant Panther.
They
And I was like, why am
they
I
definitely
in
didn't
this
win
thread?
double digits, but we ain't
Won
gonna argue
10,
about
won
it.
10.
They won 9, but
Won 10.
But still, like the most dominant sport ever played at Plant. Coach Harrison won 12 state championship girls cross country.
But even if you look at now he just opened up another
What?
he just opened up a can. He just opened up a bottle of tequila. I'm talking about aged tequila. You know what he just opened up?
What?
If you look at the most dominant sports ever,
Yeah.
and you or runs ever, arguably you're gonna have it on the women's side.
Now, is that because
Probably.
they still growing and all the competition ain't balanced out?
Well, hell, that's
But
their
it don't
fault.
matter.
John.
That's their fault. It don't matter.
That's
It don't matter.
That's their business.
Because
Like-
at one point it wasn't too balanced when UCLA was winning 8 in a row.
Yeah.
And I know the tournament wasn't big, but it was the same.
Yeah,
on the team.
the same principles.
Something I think UConn went like 7
was something
years,
crazy.
8 years without losing a conference game.
Bro, they been in the Final Four
Like
like
something crazy.
they've been in the Final Four in the teens.
If I
or
had to
something more than
guess,
that.
I would guess that the UCLA run. I don't think, and I know UConn would probably be close, but I don't think it would match it.
What?
The runs.
Who's run?
I don't think UConn would match UCLA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
We'll have to go back and look at the
They ain't win
numbers.
as many consecutively.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, you think consecutively.
Because when you talk about
But
conference championships,
But you
you're
talking about guys like you got Bill Walton and Kareem who played there in different times.
Yeah.
And I think combined losses they might have 2 or 3.
Well, Sue Bird ain't lose too many. Diana Taurasi ain't lose too many. Brianna Stewart ain't lose too many. You talking about some of the best players in the WNBA.
You think there's a player at UConn, and then you got to only do a 3-year run because back then Jabardon was only. You think there's a player at UConn that lost 3 games in 1 year?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 1 game in 3 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
And won 3 straight
It
chips.
might be.
Yes.
It might be.
I have to see.
Or
that.
Might
2.
be.
No, I ain't talking about 2.
Yeah.
No, I don't know
Because
about
the boy
three, I don't
went
know
two.
about 3
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
chips. I know 2.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like
Diana
Jabbar won
Taurasi
3 in a
might
row.
be-
Bill Walton won 3 in a row.
Diana
And I'm
Taurasi
sure they-
might be the one. She might be the one.
1 game and 3 chips.
But when you see it, like you got your.
That's tough.
But even you got your Boston Celtics, then you got your Houston Comets.
Ooh, my Boston
Listen,
Celtics.
got
some of
your
the best basketballer
The mighty
I seen
Celtics.
was the Houston Comets
Houston Comets.
with Cynthia Cooper, Tina
I
Thompson,
would buy a bottle of tequila if anybody could name me the point guard on that team, and she passed away.
Perot.
Yeah.
Give me my tequila.
I already bought the bottle.
Need that. Oh, he ain't nothing.
For those who ain't nothing. Already bought the bottle.
Say, coach.
I already bought the bottle.
We want that Activo, coach. You got to get the. We don't want no Milagro.
Hey, I already bought the bottle. I already bought the bottle.
She did pass, though.
Kim Perot.
Cancel.
Those teams were tough.
What?
But then you talking about a dominant run or a dominant athlete, arguably, Serena Williams is.
Yeah, you might have
Like,
to go Serena.
like if you look at women and men, I gotta get S-Dub her props.
Now, can I ask you something?
Her props. Nobody don't want her.
I tell you what.
Nobody don't want her resume.
I bet you pay attention to track and field, though.
Oh, see that? Yeah.
But
But in track and field too, when we look at the track and field side, we do have some pretty dominant men in the world championships and the Olympics.
You got women too,
you got some women's.
You got
Yeah, but
Allison Felix just won the most medals of any Olympic woman in the Olympics.
Oh, Allison Felix.
Yeah, but we're comparing it to the greatest of the greatest. Nobody don't want Michael Phelps as an Olympian.
No.
Nobody don't want him.
No.
Is he the greatest Olympian of all time, Michael Phelps?
Arguably.
Medal wise.
What? He got like 20 of them?
Say that again.
What?
Got 20 medals.
He got like 20.
It's tough.
Yeah, he was collecting them boys for a minute there.
I don't know.
It's a couple of
pretty
women.
impressive.
It's a couple of women swimmers not on his level though.
Not like that.
Women coaches. We had a big breakthrough this last week.
What's my girl name?
Just left Baylor and went to LSU.
Yeah.
LSU.
Yeah.
Is it Muffet McGraw? No.
Didn't she play at Old Dominion when they won a championship
Yes.
way back?
Muffet.
So you would have to go Pat Summit. You would have to go
Don't forget Tara Vanderveer. I think she got the most.
Stanford.
Women. Yeah.
At Stanford, yeah.
Vanderveer.
Of course, Gino.
Do we ever forecast
It's going to be all women.
Oh,
Hey,
my
do we
bad.
ever forecast a
He coached
woman
the women.
head coach heading a man's team?
It's coming. I think Hammond is
Yeah.
close. I think Hammond is real close.
I could see it in the WNBA. I don't know if the powers that be go let it happen in the NBA.
I don't think the infrastructure in the NBA allow that.
I don't think they'll go for that. Because the Good Old Boys Network, they still alive and well.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever get like a woman, you know.
Well, you hit a quote when we went back to Jennifer Azzi, man.
Oh, no, Mario won't watch him. Mario was a
know a
baseball
little
player at that
something
time.
about that game.
Man, Jennifer
boy.
Azzi, man, come on, man. Don't
Mario was a
play with me.
baseball player at that time, Jones. I used to watch a lot of women's basketball.
Yeah, I did too. Oh, well, you know, because I coached it.
Right.
So I stayed on top of it. And even to this day, I watch UConn now if I know they're on TV. Because
Yeah.
I like the way they play. I like
but
the
you're a basketball
precision.
savant too, though. You can't.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at the game, but we talking about just the novice fan that's just going to, you know what?
It's
I'm
gonna
going to
be-
give me some popcorn and
That's tough.
nachos
Yeah, that's
and
tough.
drink me a
Tough.
beer.
That's tough.
gonna
I'm
be
going
tough.
to like that's tough. Like a kid gonna sit there and not fall asleep watching.
Could you possibly, and this is gonna sound laughable, could you possibly do it like how they do high school? Like the boys play before the girls play before the boys. Like if Mario owns the Seattle Sonics, could the women's team play before
But
the
you ain't gonna
Sonics?
get to the game till when the men play. It don't matter.
But we can just build a cost into the ticket price. I don't care when you get
You
there.
can, but at the same time, is that going?
they're not gonna get-
It's not gonna
accelerate
change
the
it.
growth of the
Yeah,
women's
that's true.
side?
No.
Yeah.
No. You almost
Yeah.
be better to give them they night, they show to themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. You can.
And
do
I
it.
remember the NBA guys like even trying to be seen at the games.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
they was trying in their own way. You see Kobe courtside a lot.
Right.
You see Chris Paul and all them guys. So
And Kobe was an advocate for that, having
Yeah.
a daughter that was going to be pretty good.
It's an
and
entertaining
seeing
game, man. It really is. And when I was coaching the women, I was entertained by it and I saw it. But I'm not gonna lie to you. Once I came back to the men's side and I was watching, I was like, man, it's not athletic. It's the pace not what I'm used to. Is you know what I mean?
Right.
It was a difference. It was a difference. So if you're not kind of into it and loving the game, not
be
women's or
hard.
men's, but the game, it'll be hard.
I mean, if we go stay on the women's side for a second before we switch gears, me and Jones and Marie, we got a tradition. We watch the college softball World
Oh,
Series.
yes, sir.
Like that's very entertaining.
Entertaining, man. Great games.
Super
Great
entertaining.
games. Great games.
And then you look at the
best pitcher
crowd.
You remember in softball?
Right, you look at the crowd
What was
and
that her name? That threw the ball so hard.
Megan Finch,
Yes, that's who
Arizona,
she,
right?
Man, she was kind of cute.
somewhere out west.
Yeah.
Megan Finch.
Somewhere
yeah, that
out
was her.
west.
Yeah,
Jenny Finch.
Jenny Finch.
Jenny Finch. Yeah.
Jenny Finch, Olympian.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of women that kind of changed So many things that's going on. We got a little background noise, man. We might have to jump across this table in a few.
Jump to your left.
I don't know.
You know what I
Hey,
mean?
I don't know who
That's the old
texted,
fella.
but they blowing it up.
Yeah, they
right
blowing
now.
that thing up. And we got
My bad, man.
So if we
Nah,
want
you
to,
good.
if we want to switch gears for a second, I think Coach Reed want to talk about. What was it? Coded language in sports, or was that a whole nother show?
No, we coded language. Coded language, and give your definition of coded language. We're going to touch on that and expound on that for the next maybe 5 to 10 minutes. But coded language in sports on the heels of women in sports.
Coded language would be. I know next to nothing about Justin Fields, but I come out on TV and say, I heard he's not a first in the locker room, last guy to leave type of guy. I heard he doesn't have the killer instinct. I heard mentally he can't process as well as some other prospects. That's all coded language. And we just had an egregious
SAT.
SAT vocab. Like what that guy on ESPN came out and he basically told a lie about Justin Fields. It was all coded language.
But here's the thing. I think we're starting to see a frequency of coded language. And the reason I wanted to be able to touch on it because a media outlet or a media personality can be the result of somebody's draft status.
That kid slipped to the 11th pick.
Somebody's draft status, because guess what? If I'm a highly talented guy and I don't show the interest that you want me to show and you've never played the sport, now that language changes because I'm going to get in the ear of some personnel or some GM.
No, the guy who said it, he played the sport. He played quarterback
No,
in
I'm
the
just
NFL.
saying like in general.
But
like,
you just
because a lot of guys didn't.
Yeah, I think
didn't play it.
Yeah.
So how can you say because like for example, what's the kid that played at Duke a couple years ago that played for that Atlanta draft in the lottery?
Basketball?
Basketball. Shooter, can really shoot it. Didn't have the freshman season with McDonald All-American. God, I can't think of his name. He played with the Hawks right now. I think he's going to have a pretty decent career. But because, and I never forget the coded language that was expressed on this young man. They said he don't show the passion to play basketball.
Bro, they get outrageous
like,
with it. They get outrageous with it. I heard.
Have Tim Duncan ever showed passion?
Who?
Tim Duncan.
No.
I heard a scout say about Jaylen Brown, who went to Cal Berkeley.
I got to stop.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can't take it.
Jason Brown, is that his name?
Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown, who went
Yes.
to Cal Berkeley.
Cam
Reddish.
Cam Reddish is his name.
They were saying Jaylen Brown might be too smart
Yeah.
because he went to Cal. Like, are you serious?
Too smart.
What does that even mean?
And when he articulates and speaks, but again, here's the thing. Now we get into a whole nother conversation, but I think the expectations of our vernacular, of our verbiage, of our how receptive we are to certain things when they interview us, they want us to be a certain way. So when you hear a Jaylen Brown who's averaging having a career year this year, they just maxed out, who's going to be a very good player for a long time.
Yeah.
When they interview him now, they're like, oh, we want him to say we want him to be a great interview. That's going to be entertaining for our $1 billion networks.
I'm gonna keep it real, and there's this story I always tell. Guy that I grew up with. We were watching. Remember they used to do it, Jones, the All-American, the preseason All-American college football show.
Yep.
And they have all the guys there. I'll never forget this as long as I live. The running backs were Kevin Falk from LSU and Ricky Williams from Texas. They did the thing on Kevin Falk. I will never forget this as long as I live. The presenter said, this next guy, don't let the dreadlocks fool you. He really has his act together. I literally almost fell off my couch.
You know what got me? And me and you talked about this.
He said, don't let the dreadlocks fool you.
This is the one thing I'm not a fan of, and we're going to touch on this a little bit later. There was a kid that got drafted 2 years ago. I forget his name. But he got drafted in the first round. They didn't expect him to get drafted. But, you know, some coaches see length, size, athleticism, whatever. Mm-hmm. Background doesn't even matter. He's a tough kid, you know, whatever. But the one thing they mentioned, they said he beat the odds. His mom was on crack cocaine. Like, that right there took me to a whole nother. Like, why do you have to mention that?
That's their thing.
Like why is that important? Why is that imperative? Coded language.
Well,
coded language. Like, let me say something because guess what? I'm expecting you to fail based off of what you've been through. This is what I expect. You come from here, coach. This the box I'm gonna put you in.
Can
you
I
come
get-
from here, debonair. This the box I'm gonna put you in.
Can I give y'all my view on this coded language thing? Because if you notice, I ain't said a lot.
Yes, sir.
Why we expect different?
That's a very good question.
Why we expecting different? Because
I'm
it's
not.
2021, and it's, to me, my thought on all this, I hear it all the time. And I say, he's an idiot. He don't know no better. And if he do know better, then shame on him. But he's an idiot, and I know that's always going to be like that. So what we got to do is teach our kids this going to be said, this going to be looked at, and this what we got to do to combat that. Because it ain't going nowhere.
Right.
My four
And
mantras of life don't take nothing personal.
Hey,
They come
there you
in.
go. Listen,
They
and I don't
come
want. And I
in.
heard somebody talking about, oh, woke. Bitch, I ain't never been asleep.
Right.
I ain't woke now. I hear you. That don't affect me no more. What I'm doing is I'm getting busy. I'm going to, as you would say, to the babies, and I'm teaching.
That's where it
Right.
got to be.
And we
at.
talking about it, man. You got to get your head right. This what's gonna be said. This how it's gonna be laid out.
I've been called Tom Petty, Richard Petty. I'm not gonna let you. Yeah, I ain't gonna let you say it and think you got one off. I'm gonna let you know I heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just my pettiness
Yeah.
that I try
Yeah.
to suppress
And-
sometimes.
And ain't nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
now, but I'm just saying, man, I ain't woke today. I know, I
Right.
hear you. I hear that. You just ignorant. And then I'm going to teach my babies or the babies, this is what it's going to be. This how it's going to be laid out. Because that's the only way we're going to get past that. That ain't going nowhere,
Right.
bro. That's not going nowhere.
But
ever.
I think it needs to be a light needs to be shown. Like when somebody say something off the
The
cuff
deck.
like that, when they start talking about,
I got
the
you.
light is on it.
well, no, I mean it
For
needs to
us
be
it
called
is.
out even
Yes.
more.
But here's why the light is not on. Those guys are so caught up in the check, the opportunity, the demographics and the coded language that goes into it. They kind of just brush it off. Where we know it's a privilege to be in certain areas, but you earn that right.
Yes.
You earn to be
Yes.
there. What I've done and what I've accomplished and where I'm at and the things that I've been through has nothing to do with what I've earned.
See, and I got a problem with that too, because when I hear people say it's a privilege for a guy to be somewhere, nobody says that about a heart surgeon. All they talk about is the hard work and the effort that he put in.
Yeah.
So just because LeBron James makes his money with these,
Yeah.
that don't mean he put any less work in than a doctor
True
or a
story.
lawyer. But nobody ever says
Because you
it's
know
a
what they
privilege
say?
to be a
You know
doctor.
what they say? You're getting paid $20 million to play a
Right.
kid's game.
Right,
Well, I'm sorry. This kid's game have 25,000 people in the arena 4 days a week.
right.
That's paying $200 plus to come see me.
that privilege stuff make me
Telling you,
cringe. I
man.
And
don't
another,
like
and
that.
another 2 million people a day to watch me on TV.
That's real. Telling you, man, teach the babies. This is where it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if it ever change, it's not changing in my lifetime, fellas. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm calling
Not in
it
my
out.
lifetime.
Yeah. And we'll continue to call
and
it
play-
out. So
and players need to call it
And
out.
it's
too.
okay. It's okay
Yeah, they
to
need to
call it
call
out.
it
I'm
out.
just saying, man, y'all don't heard me
Put
talk
this
about
big-
many things. I'm big on, man. I see it is there. Let's get the teaching, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get the teaching. All right, and let's get the teaching and step on that thing. Let's get the teaching.
all the young men and
Yeah.
young ladies that's aspiring to do something, whether you from the trenches and the bricks and the projects in the hood, or whether you from a middle class or upper class family, whatever they use to try to bring you down, using
Yes.
this coded language, break it down and be able to see it, but throw it right back at them.
Listen,
Throw it right back at them.
I had one of the little kids come to me today, and he got in a fight with somebody, and they pushing. I said, "What's going on, man?" Well, he said, "My mama." I said, "Do you even know your mom?
Have you seen them?
Have you seen
met
her?"
her.
He said, "No." I said, "We
clearly
gotta
saw it.
stop.
That's why he said
We gotta
something about
stop letting.
He see it when she comes.
We gotta stop letting them words and do that to us, because that's why them words put out there to do that to
Right.
us."
I grew up in the crack era, man. There was a song came out. Your mama's on crack rock. Boy, I got the
Not my mama.
Not my mama. And let me tell you something. Boy, if I would have took that, oh man, it was crushing.
Yeah.
But get what? It was factual. I had to take it on the chin.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with I'll never forget Mother's Day edition
On you.
on you.
Wow. I mean, I've been starting the last few.
You really haven't, but go ahead.
What? Go back and look at this. It's all
Saying
recorded.
you haven't. Did you start last week?
Yes, I did.
No, we didn't even do one because
No, week before, I'm sorry. No, week before, I'm sorry. But I started off. I'll never forget. Mother's Day edition. So we got to keep it about the queens and the mothers. I'll never forget. And mine is short, but sweet, but to the point. And I'm going to shout out my moms on this. Happy Mother's Day. Was with her earlier. My mother got pregnant at 15 years of age. had me at 16. I'll never forget when I found out that my mother had me, well, I was created the first time she had intercourse. So when she told me tonight, and when it happened, and she created a scene, which I won't get into, I'll never forget finding that out. My daddy was a college basketball player. My mother was 16, was 2 years of her elder. But her sitting me down and said, you know what I went through to have you? The first, it hurt. And I'm like, Mom, I don't want to hear all that. But after now sitting back and thinking about it, I was a fortune kid. The first time my mother engaged to be intimate, I was created. So I'm here in front of y'all at the first time at 16 years of age in 1978, March 26, 9:30 p.m. Easter Sunday. I'll never forget.
Hey,
Rudolph won't either.
Yeah,
Rudolph
won't forget that either. Boy, I dropped it off in that first time. Man, we ain't talking about Father's Day. Why am I hitting with that one? But yeah, I'll never forget that. Just having that conversation with my mom, who was very young. My mother's only 16 years elder than me. But I'll never forget that piece of it.
I'll never forget my mom. She passed a couple years ago. I think I told the story before. We were at my grandma's house. My brother was older and bigger than me when we was younger. And, they'll let me hit him. I get away with it. My mom was like, if you hit him again, I'm going to turn him loose on you.
We in the backyard, though.
Well, I'm in the backyard fighting for my life.
And Mama put that together.
I'm
How big was your mother, Debonair?
My mom, she was small, probably 5'1", 5'2", like 110 pounds. She gave that pit bull the word, and she took that muzzle off.
what you say, Granddad? He combed your head.
He combed my head like that, boy. She came over there.
Yeah, with them steel combs.
What you talking about? My mama came over there, got him off me. She like, all right, that's enough. He done had enough.
Oh my God.
She was like, you gotta respect your big brother. That's your big brother. And me and my brother ain't had no problem since. That's a lesson taught by my mom.
You never forget that.
Lesson taught.
Never forget that one, boy.
Hey, listen, man, I never forget with my mama just passing on March 31st, just a little while back, man, and you start thinking about all kind of things. And I know my birthday is Saturday, and Mother's Day fell on my birthday a couple times.
Big 5'7".
5'7", baby.
Well, shout out Coach Jones.
Got 57 looking good.
57 looking good. I promise you that.
Boom.
So I never forget, I was young, and I don't know the exact age. I guess I did forget something. But everybody was outside playing. I was a good athlete. There wasn't nothing I couldn't play. And matter of fact, my thing was just show me the rules and I beat you. That was my little motto at that time. So it was Sunday day, boy, and we was waiting. We getting up finna play whatever the game was, 'cause we played by the season. And they were like, boy, wait till Tommy get here, da-da-da. We waiting on my mama to come home. My mama came home, and I was getting her. She said, where you going? I said, we finna go play a little ball. She said, no, today you finna learn how to sew and cook a little bit.
Oh, boy.
I say,
my mama.
I say, what? I say, Mom, sewing and cooking. Now, mind you, because these days, I'm finna be politically incorrect. You know what I mean? But I was like, you trying to make a sissy out of me.
Sissy.
That's what I told my mama. My mama said, and I told this story at her funeral service. I said, you trying to make a sissy out of me. She said, puh. She said, not likely. You're a Jones, boy. You ain't finna be that.
The truth.
She said, but what you are finna be is a man that can take care of himself and others around him. So I'm gonna teach you to sew. I'm gonna teach you to cook. So she taught me how to use a sewing machine.
Got a couple pair of pairs at the house.
It need to be him.
Hey, I hem him up. I hem him up.
Got a couple pair.
Look like it. You want to pull your socks up, how make it look like one leg. I hem it up with one leg.
Make out.
Right.
If they coming back down,
But,
I sew them.
But I never forget, man, that day. And now I look back, and she did what she needed to do to prepare me, you know. And to this day, I do all the ironing in my house. My wife needs something iron, I iron it. You know what I mean? Cause I don't use stars no more. But I used to be,
Put them things in the corner. They stand up by themselves.
What? Getting them things, man. I was big on that. But I do the ironing stuff today, and I I never forget her teaching me that, my reaction to it. And her reaction to it was, and we ain't getting all up in the air about this. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're not going to play.
No, that's it.
And you might rumble in your thoughts, but
exactly. But the thing was, you know what she knew? I was going to learn that, and I still was going to get out and play plenty of ball. It was a long way to go. So I never forget that, man. God bless my mom. I miss her. I'll never be the same, but we'll learn to deal with it. So I never forget that, though.
Shout out to all of the moms. All of the moms I've encountered, I've worked with, been a part of their life, been able to exceed it. And the single moms, the moms that don't have the assistance outside of what goes on in the world. So women, queens, all of y'all are special in your own right, and we want to give y'all a shout out on this.
Happy Mother's Day to all.
Happy Mother's Day,
especially Marie.
That's for
To
sure.
all of them.
Happy Mother's Day, babe.
Happy Mother's Day, to mine has been fortunate to carry 3 of mine, and all of that. So you mothers, you queens, you ladies, thank you. Thank you for being a part of this world and make this work. Because if y'all didn't exist, boy, I don't know what we would do.
Well, I wouldn't be nothing.
Control chaos around this thing.
Love your queens, love the women,
Yes, sir.
love the mothers. Thank you. Don't forget to like the video. Leave a comment with the topics that you want to hear next.
Which we haven't had one person do that. Can somebody please?
Anything you want to hear us
Anything you want to hear us?
I mean, we'll keep
Speak
bringing
on.
it. Don't get me wrong, but I know it's something out there.
But
y'all
I know it's something you want to hear. If you want to hear us talk about that, you know what I mean? Subscribe to the channel. Remember, 99 ain't good enough where we
Keep it 100.
Another one in the books.